it tells me that I am now live streaming. Minimize this guy. Get back to the game. Let's see
You
if
are live.
it says I'm live. Alright, looks like we're going. Everything seems good so far.
Yes, sir.
Cool. What up, everybody? What up, DPG? How'd you get here so quick?
You know how I am, boy. I rule.
Yes, I'll get around.
Yeah. What's
Well,
up, everybody?
hello. This is me, Chris Wackaroni, and the fantastic DPG. Today we're going to be discussing movies while playing movie-themed games for you guys, and so that's what's going on.
Yeah.
What would you like to start with?
Well, I want to start with Marvel, like we talked about last night.
That's fine, that was
And
at the top of
I
my
gotta
list too.
say, Marvel is doing a really good job. It started about a decade ago. If you think about it, starts a decade ago, and they planned this with Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor, and they brought the Avengers. And so what they do is in the Avengers, after they're done with their series of their individual films, they fight villains like Loki, Ultron, and the most powerful one yet, Thanos, which is they took about 10 years in the making.
Oh yes, and
So
it was so worth it, was it not?
it was so worth it, my good sir. It
So
was
worth
so
it.
worth it.
It took all that time, but it was a good ride. I enjoyed
It was a good ride, yes. It was
almost
good
all of those
fun.
movies. Well, let's start from the beginning, I guess. Was Hulk came first or Iron Man came? I think Iron Man came
It
first,
was
right?
it was Hulk a little bit, and then they're fighting Thanos' children, and that's about it.
Yeah. All right. So what'd you think of
And
Iron Man?
Iron Man, I like his new stuff in the film. I thought it was pretty well detailed.
Let's go like into the like the first movie. Like, how'd you feel about the very first
Oh,
Iron
I
Man?
did not watch the movie actually,
Oh,
because
you
I
didn't
was
see the
not
first
I
one?
was not into Iron Man. Yeah, I was not into Iron Man sort of stuff. I was more
Okay,
into Captain America
that's interesting.
actually.
I
Yeah, yeah.
I was a big fan of the first Iron Man. It really, really got me in.
Yeah.
I was not a fan of the character until the movie, and then once the movie came out, I was like, wow, like this is an awesome character.
Yep.
What about the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, the first?
I don't recall watching it. I remember watching the 2003 version.
Is that the
With,
older,
yeah,
the
that's the
different
older
character?
one.
That's not the
Yeah,
Edward Norton one.
but this time they replaced it with Mark Ruffalo. Actually, he did a pretty good job as the Hulk. So they're
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they didn't do like a solo individual film. So I was kind of a bit disappointed that they didn't do another one.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Taking well, actually, before we get any further into it, is your voice being heard? Are you being heard on stream?
I don't know. You want me to go check my sir, good
I
sir? Like,
think I
sure, it
can.
doesn't
I
need it.
think I can check it real quick. Hold on, just a second.
Alright.
All right,
Just
let's
you want me to go
see.
check my sir, good sir?
Oh no, you're good. Yeah, yeah, very good. I can hear you very well on that. All right, cool.
Awesome.
All right, so where were we talking about Hulk? And
Yeah, we were talking about the Incredible Hulk and the original Hulk.
so you did see the older one, but not the newer one with Edward Norton.
No.
Okay.
Well, like a bit of that, a bit of something like that, yeah.
What'd you think of the older one?
Yeah.
What did you think of that one? The Ang Lee one with
Yeah, Ang Lee one, yeah.
Eric Bana.
Yeah.
I thought that one was okay. I liked the second one a little bit better, but
Yeah. Made decent, but I wish they could have done it the third Hulk movie. But Hulk is in Avengers 1, 2, and 3, and he's in Thor Ragnarok, which makes both of them absent in Captain America Civil War.
Hey, Electronic Man, what's up, dude? On Discord, I am chatting with DPG on Discord, but it's not an open voice thing. How are you doing today? That actually reminded me about about Ghost Rider. You know Ghost Rider?
Yeah.
It became its own thing. Like, it became like a Marvel Knights, like an offshoot. They did the newer one was a Marvel Knights Ghost Rider thing, and I thought that was weird. Like, I was okay with the first one. I thought it was pretty cheesy, like really, really cheesy. But the second one that came out was I liked it.
Wasn't the second one Nicolas Cage, right?
They were both Nicolas Cage, and I know the second one was like kind of a reboot, but also kind of a sequel. Also, I don't know. It's strange. I loved the action in it. I loved all the special effects and action and everything. Did you see either one of the Ghost Rider ones?
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Did you see the Ghost Rider movies?
Oh no, I never seen it. Sorry, I was busy because I just caught myself a Pokemon.
No, hey, this is not the Pokemon chat. No, that's cool. Electronic Man.
No, I did not see the Ghost Rider movies, but I heard about it.
Talk about movies too is not fun in the chat. Electronic Man, this was a setup thing beforehand. Me and DPG have been wanting to do a collab thing for a while, so this isn't like an open thing for everybody.
And I'm gonna name the Pokemon Chris as a nickname I just caught.
Well, that is just adorable. Thank you. I'm honored.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Let's talk about movies that you have seen then. Just tell me about the Marvel movies that you have seen and how you feel about them.
I have seen the Avengers, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and Civil War, Guardians. Guardians reminds me of the Avengers because it was funny. It's the same style, and I thought it was pretty cool how they brought Guardians into the mix. Because you all have in common with like Thanos, like because he's like he's like, you know, the main like character, main villain. Like he wants to get his hands on those stones, which makes him already powerful. So yeah.
Dude, this game.
I mean, the way I feel is that
I'm switching this.
You know, it's a journey with these stories. They're taking us, you know, with the directors, screenwriters. They're following with this comic book stuff, and yeah, it's just a fun joyride with them.
I think so. I'm a big fan. You said you're not a big fan of the DC stuff. You haven't been paying attention.
No, alright, the DC reboot stuff, I think it started with Man of Steel. It was slow pacing, but the action was kind of fun, but again, it was slow pacing, and I hated it. And there's Batman vs. Superman, which was released about like 2 years later, and I'm like, what on earth? It's like I'm watching Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. No, Batman Begins, actually, how they started it. Because that felt like the whole reboot, but they just did it again with a reboot. And I like the Dark Knight trilogy better than the Batman vs. Superman.
Well, I totally agree. I don't think anybody would argue with you on that one.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would argue with that either.
I love the Dark Knight trilogy.
Same, and I think everybody's movie so far is like the Dark Knight. It's like in the top 10. It's 9.0. It's in the top 10 films, which is pretty crazy. Like Nolan's films, I think most of them are in top 10 actually, which is pretty good for his career.
Yeah, I'm okay with the newer, like, I liked Ben Affleck as Batman. I'm okay with him as an actor as Batman. I thought I think he's okay. I think he's cool. It's just the movies aren't that great. I did like Man of Steel a lot though. I really did like Man of Steel. And then I heard all the criticisms about how it's dark and it doesn't have the same like tone. You know, it doesn't have like a lighthearted, hopeful Superman, and I get it. But I thought it was, as its own movie, it was I thought it was cool. It was action-packed, and it was, I mean, it was fun for me. What up, Bernie?
I mean, the action was fine and everything, but it's just how the story, it's like, latches up onto it. is what really bothers me the most.
Now, Batman vs Superman, that one really bothered me, only because, well, I was okay with Lex Luthor at first. What's his face being Lex Luthor?
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, I was okay with him being Lex Luthor because I don't know that much about Superman and the villains. I know that he's supposed to be a bald villain man. So I was like, okay, they're doing a different thing, and we'll see how it goes. But he was really he was a very silly and strange Lex Luthor, as far as I know.
I think the makeup is kind of odd, which bothers me the most. I wish they could have done it differently. The makeup. It's like his hair was all sticking out. It was like, what the... I'm like, this man.
So that part of it didn't bother me quite as much as the Martha moment. And as soon as the whole Martha thing happened, I was like, what were you thinking? You know what I'm talking about, right? It's like they're in the middle. Batman is about to kill Superman. He's like, you have to die, and I hate you, and you're terrible. And he's about to stab him in the face. And then he's like, Martha, and it's like, that's my mother's name too.
Oh yeah, but the scene with them together, they're like, one of them says Martha, and the other one says Martha. I was confused, bro.
Yeah, it didn't make sense.
I was confused.
Man, I probably should have said like spoilers. If people hadn't seen some of these movies, like there might be a little bit of spoilers here, but I'll try to let's try to steer a little bit clear of spoilers as far as like what happens.
I don't think it's not. Well, I mean, it's kind of I agree. We shouldn't say anything. I mean, I don't think nobody does give a crap about, the Batman vs Superman and the characters being similar. Hey, we got Baddest Dudes in the chat. I think it's Showtime or Shondo.
What up, Baddest Dudes? How's it going?
What's up?
Fucking drinking.
No, should I say what's up?
Always.
Please tell me you saw a scary movie. I actually want to talk about those, like one of those comedy movies and all that kind of stuff.
Electronic Man, what's up, dude? It's totally cool that you're here. I always appreciate you, but you're so fucking pushy all the time. Like, I'm reading your comments. We're in the middle of a discussion. I'm trying to pay attention to everyone.
Yeah.
Talking about horror.
So do you have a favorite comedy? Like kind of like, let's say like Scary Movie or Scary Movie 2, 3, 4. I would say the fifth one was really crappy. It was so bad. Like honestly, really bad.
The newer ones were really bad. The Scary Movie, like I liked the first one, maybe 1 and 2. I don't remember 3 and some of those.
Oh my god, my second favorite was the.
But then they started
when Ray was doing exercise, and all of a sudden there was a clown, and the clown was like, "Come here." He scared Larry Daylights out of him, and then Ray goes, "Uncle Ray wants to play a game." He was like, "Get your finger out of there!"
Oh yeah, I remember that.
It was so funny. Like holy crap. Yo, Marlon Wayans is a funny guy, man. Like holy crap, he's so funny.
I didn't like when they started doing like dance movie and epic movie and like disaster movie and some of that stuff. I thought that was like, I don't know, those were just a little too silly, a little too over the top or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is stupid. I've never played any of these games. That's why I'm dying. I'm also I'm trying not to pay that much attention to the actual game so we can talk about this stuff. Alright, so let's go back to,
Marvel?
You said what was the
Batman
last one? The last one that you remember, like, did you watch Batman v Superman?
I did. It was during my college year, and it was around springtime. I did watch it. It was long. I feel like I wasted my money on that because I thought that movie was completely stupid. It was completely stupid.
I'm one of the people that was like, I'm gonna give it a pass because I enjoyed it, but I also it was dumb. But then Justice League came out, and I was like, this is fascinatingly dumb. Like just the most.
Okay, yeah, Justice League was pretty dumb, and it did not do so well at the box office. It only made almost like 700 million. It only made like 653 million, and so they canceled the sequel. They canceled it. I'm like, DC is done. They're done. Marvel, they're on top of their charts. They're like up here, DC is way down, like way
Yeah, yeah.
down.
I think Baddest Dudes, we're talking about a different movie. It's called Blank Man.
Blank
That
Man.
that was a weigh-ins. That was one of the weigh-ins. Every time I think of that one,
Blank Man.
I think I've seen that one. I don't know. What about Blank Man versus Superman? That would be ridiculous. Hey, I found Baloo. That's dumb. This game is dumb. Blank Man
Yeah.
versus Superman. Stole the computer sound. Blind Man versus Superman. Martha. All right. Well, let's switch over for a minute and talk about Star Wars. What's the last
Okay, yeah,
Star
Star
Wars
Wars
movies that
right
you
now.
enjoyed?
I enjoyed the original, but then now everybody's like, oh, this is like their mind is going like this is confusing. Like there's a prequel and there's original. Original started from 1978 until 1983, and then prequel started from 1998 till 2005. So I'm like, no, I bet people back in the day in their 70s, who were probably in their teens or early child, would be like, why did they start with the original into the prequel, and a decade later, there's the sequel trilogy, which picks up 30 years after Return of the Jedi. I would say the Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones were kind of slow pacing, but the action was kind of fun at the end. But overall, it was kind of like a lot of bit like dialogue and whatnot.
I think
Revenge of the Sith was pretty cool. A New Hope. The Empire. Alright, The Empire Strikes Back is my favorite Star Wars and original trilogy
Yeah, that's what
because
everybody
it was
says.
so dark and the tone, like it really, like the tone of the villain Darth Vader did a really good job. It really captured my reaction of this tone, like what Darth Vader can really do.
Honestly, for some reason, the Return of the Jedi, the third of the old ones, was that one was my favorite. I'm not exactly sure why, but I was younger when I watched them. It was a little bit the original Star Wars stuff was just slightly before my time growing up, but I did get into them a little bit. I'm not a huge Star Wars guy. Everybody says Empire Strikes Back was the best one, and it probably is, from like a movie critic standpoint. But I always really liked the Return of the Jedi one. But as far as like the prequels, the trilogy prequels or whatever, I think I thought Phantom Menace was really weird, and I didn't really like it very much. And then I thought Attack of the Clones was pretty good, and I also kind of liked the
no, because what bothers me like
whatever the fuck
is the dialogue, and then we have to wait till like maybe an hour something minutes to wait for the action, the climax. That's about it.
Yeah.
But the only thing that distracted me in Attack of the Clones was the romance, like between the two characters,
Yeah, I know
and
what
that's
you mean.
pretty much about it.
Yeah. He's like talking about sand. It's like love is like sand and fucking sand. I hate sand. I don't know. He says some stupid crap like that. I thought the whole romance thing was very odd.
Yeah, and they were like criticizing him like the worst actor, Hayden Christian, who played Anakin.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I don't get it. Like,
there were moments, and I think it was what you were talking about. Like a lot of the romance scene moments were what people didn't like, and that the acting kind of came out kind of bad, I guess, in those scenes.
Yeah, it was kind of distracting though. Distraction.
I mean, God. Yep, Electronic Man, you are Blind Man in real life. I remember. Just never be distracted by Martha. Talk about Evil Dead. Baddest dudes want to talk about Evil Dead. I don't remember the originals very much. Did you ever, DPG, did you ever see the Evil Dead movies?
No, I don't know what that is actually.
I will have control of direction.
They did a remake not too long ago, and I really liked the remake of Evil Dead. But I don't remember the old ones all that much. I think in the second one there was it was Army of Darkness, and there was a lot of crazy shit in that one. Yeah, I don't remember it that well. I'm a fan of horror movies. There's just not a lot of them that I'm a fan of the genre horror, but I don't think they've done a lot of good ones. Army of Darkness was the third one?
Army of the Darkness? Oh yeah, he's talking to you, actually.
Interesting.
I'm guessing it's Showtime. It's Showtime is talking to us. It's gotta be.
Well, Shondo was on the account when I saw him in a chat a little bit ago. So I don't know. Like being blind, cut in front of people at theme parks. That's awesome. Okay, but since I'm talking about Jurassic Park, we might as well jump to that. You can go ahead and say.
Oh my god, I love Jurassic Park. If you know me too well, this is one of my childhood movies. And oh my god, like Jurassic Park, you have no idea. This is one of the best blockbusters that was out in '93. Jurassic Park. You cannot.
Yeah, everybody was talking about it when it first came out.
Came out in 1993. I was born in '96, but I get to watch it on VHS because back in the day there was Blockbuster and everybody gets to rent the movie. And so I guess my parents brought it home to rent it, maybe. I don't know.
Back when renting was a thing.
Yeah, but Jurassic Park is definitely one of. It's still a cool blockbuster franchise. It's still cool.
As far as I can recall, the first Jurassic Park was good. I remember it being good. The second one was weird, but I didn't hate it. The Lost World, and then the third one, I don't even remember the third one. And then the new
third one was around 2001.
I'm not a fan of the Jurassic World, the newer ones.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like nobody's not a big fan of it. I don't think I'm not a fan of it, but I kind of do miss the dinosaurs, who kind of like takes control of the whole cinema. So, I did see I did see Jurassic Park in 3D back in 2013 when I was in sophomore year. I thought it was actually a pretty good job with how they did in 3D version. I thought that was pretty cool. And I got to see Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom. Fallen Kingdom was kind of choppy crap.
Yeah, see, that's where that's a good one to talk about now. Maybe we shouldn't do necessarily spoilers, but I don't know how much people are caring about that right now.
Yeah.
I did not see the new one, and DPG did see the new one, and let's hear more of your thoughts on the newer one.
So it picks up the last one, and it's kind of like the Lost World sort of type vibe, but it's completely different. It's a new director. It's a Spanish director, and they want to take the dinosaurs off the island. It's kind of how they did in the second Jurassic Park.
Yeah, that's what I heard. People they basically are kind of redoing the same types of things.
And it was and they're selling the highest bidder. I'm like, yeah, that's what they use in spy movies. Why would you want to use it in a science fiction movie? That really confused me. And the best thing about this, there was a lot of scary moments. There's a lot of scary moments. That's because of the new dinosaur in this film. It was kind of scary too. I'm like, yo, you're coming at me, bro, to the screen? Like, oh my god.
But why they?
This is non-spoiler scene. I'm about to say.
Okay.
The indoor raptor. When he was going into the little girl's bedroom, he was approaching to her. Yo, she was scared. Like, oh my god. I could just imagine a dinosaur in my house.
Oh, yeah.
Just like that size. Like, dude, I would scream my lungs out. I would scream. Like, literally scream. I would scream. I would actually legitimately scream my life. But that little girl, she did a really good job with her performance. I like Bryce Dallas Howard's return and Chris Pratt returns. Chris Pratt is a really good actor. If you guys are missing out, you gotta go see him in the Lego Movie and Guardians of the Galaxy. And second one in Adventures of Infinity War and Jurassic World. You gotta go see those movies.
What up, Rusty? How's it going, dude? Big fan of the new. You are a big fan of the new Jurassic Park movies. That's interesting. It fucking sucks.
Oh, that's. I think it's Shondo is talking to us. It's gotta be Shondo.
Yeah, Electronic Man. You gotta push through it. You gotta do what you gotta do. Join you in the podcast like talking about. Oh yeah, for sure. I'm not going to do it mid-stream because I'm not exactly sure. We're in like a personal Discord thing going on here, so I don't want to. I can't add new people at the moment without disrupting things. But yeah, like at some point, I would like to have.
We kind of planned as last night actually.
Mm-hmm. Very spur of the moment thing.
Yeah.
We've been
Because
talking
Chris and
about
I,
doing this
we
for a
have
while.
this is a common thing we have going on here, and yeah, this is actually kind of cool. Like we're talking about movies, we're talking about our thoughts, our feelings to these movies, and all that kind of stuff. I
Yeah.
want to talk about the disaster movies from a German director, Roland Emmerich, who is known for Independence Day, Godzilla, 10,000
Oh, really?
BC,
I know his name. I
and
didn't know he
2000.
did Independence Day.
So Independence Day was actually pretty good, but it was a long film. Godzilla. All right, if you see his you know Rotten Tomatoes how they grade the movies on the percentage.
Sorta.
If you look at his chart, like it's all negative. It's
Really?
because I mean, here's my negative thing about because he's a I'm pretty sure he is a writer, but the way he's telling the story out is just not
Oh.
like it's not making any sense. Like the way the one with the Godzilla, they made him like lay eggs, like thinking like he's the mother, and that didn't make any sense to me.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the
So
older one, right?
yeah, the '98 version, and
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, what?
Matthew
And I'm
Broderick
like,
and
yeah,
well, mostly what I remember about that one is there was a music video, Puff Daddy. Back when P Diddy was
oh
Puff
yeah,
Daddy, he did a music
oh
video with
yeah,
the guitarist from Led Zeppelin, and it was a version of Kashmir, one of the Zeppelin songs, and
yeah,
that's how I remember that one.
yeah. Um, yeah, but you know with the Godzilla and all, there's 10,000 BC.
Oh, he did
I
10,000 BC. I actually kind of liked that one.
I think the best one I like was 2012. I thought that really like it's like a post like apocalypse like disaster was happening to our world, like what's gonna happen in the future eventually. And yeah, and I just mentioned Godzilla. I actually want to talk about the future
Yeah.
monster movies that we have
Oh,
this year. So around 2012, 2013, they confirmed that Godzilla will be re-imaged. It's gonna have a new look. So Godzilla was released around May 2014. And I was in junior year, and I could see it. I thought it was pretty cool, but the only thing that bothers me was the I had to wait like an hour long until the Godzilla showed up, and
Yeah, I
that's
know what
about
you mean.
it. And I was kind of disappointed, but overall, we get to see him as a new look, the scale. That's what we need because that's what monster movie needs. Is the scale. Like you need to really capture like, including the atmosphere of the locations you're on. It's kind of like that. So yeah, Godzilla was pretty cool. There's Kong Skull Island. I missed that, but I bought it on digital HD. I
Oh, you
thought that
haven't
was
watched
pretty
it yet?
cool.
Oh, you did watch it?
I did watch it. I didn't watch it in theaters though, but I get to watch it on digital HD because I bought it. And Kong Skull Island. That's actually shortest Kong version of all because the remake was the 3 hours and 7 minutes, and that was actually directed by Peter Jackson.
3 hours.
And Kong Skull Island says around 1970 something during the Vietnam War, and they're going to this island, and this guy wants to prove that monster exists, and so they go out there. They want to see proof, and then yeah, and again, no spoilers for the monster movie, so you guys are fine. But what you just want to watch before you see Godzilla King of the Monsters, you gotta go watch the Godzilla 2014 version and Kong Skull Island 2017 version, and they
I
both received really positive critics alike. Which is, I think I'm giving Godzilla 4.5 out of 5 stars, and
the
Kong
which
maybe 5 out of 5
you're talking about
because
the
I
newer
thought it
one?
was really yeah, and I thought it was really entertainment with the Kong Skull Island. So
I was a little like half and half on Skull Island. I thought it was okay. I mean, it was kind of enjoyable, but I I didn't feel like I walked away from the movie like it really needed to be watched. It was entertaining and I kind of enjoyed it, but like I don't know, it didn't feel necessary, I guess. But
It's just like the story.
It was leading up into the thing, into the next one.
It's just like the story. It's like, where's it taking us or something?
Alright, Shondo's gonna crash
No.
later, dude.
No, don't leave me.
Yes, Chris, no
Don't
tech.
leave me.
No, Chris, no tech, that's for sure. And it did
Don't leave
feel
me.
like zombies ate my neighbors. Yeah, no, I got DPG kidnapped over here. Don't leave or he's gonna get it. He's gonna get the hose
now you
again.
think I'm a girl? You think I'm a girl now?
No,
What the hell is...
I mean, you're gonna get the hose again. It puts the lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again. That was an old Silence of the Lambs reference for you.
Yeah.
Trying to find.
So we got the Marvel covered up. We got the DC covered up. We got the.
I mean, we barely touched
Star Wars
Marvel
covered
stuff,
up.
but yeah, we got
The
some
monster
Star
movies
Wars,
comes.
Jurassic. We got Godzilla.
And Jurassic. We got like 5 things covered up now.
What about X-Men? X-Men and Deadpool. How do you feel about the X-Men Deadpool
X-Men
universe that they're setting up?
You know, I'm not really a big fan of X-Men. I like Deadpool because it's funny, it's humorous, stylish, and something that's never been done before. Deadpool 2, the first one was a little bit funny, but the second one is a lot more funnier, and it's just way better than the first film because only Josh Brolin did such a good job with Infinity War. He did a really good job as Cable.
So you like the second Deadpool better?
Yeah, everybody, the critics were saying like it was better than the first one. And the story, the action, the humor is there's a little bit stereotypically because there's one scene where they were approaching this kid, and he pointed out this girl. He called her Justin Bieber.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
Yeah,
he was
Negasonic
like,
Teenage Warhead. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, step back, Justin Bieber.
I really liked the second Deadpool. I thought it was really good. I don't know for sure if I like it more than the first one or not. I mean, sometimes it's sort of the Avengers type of thing for me, where it's like the first one was just so good, so epic, and it was like it's the setup for.
I know, same
for the character, and you know, so it kind of felt like after the first Avengers, it's hard for me to. Okay, comparing the first Avengers to Age of Ultron, I gotta go with the first one. Comparing like some of the other movies to the first one, it was just so classic. It's basically my favorite movie ever. Is the very first Avengers movie. But sorry, so we're talking about
until Infinity War came out, because now Infinity War is my favorite.
Yeah. Infinity War is just the greatest movie like ever now. But it's hard for me to say that it was better than the first Avengers, because that was like the big one we'd been waiting for. They'd been setting up all the characters. That was the first big thing before, in
cinema history.
Yeah, in
cinema. Yeah.
I feel like Infinity War was the Avengers of new movies. Like it's now my new favorite, and that's now what they were building up to. I don't know, it's just so epic. Anyway, we were talking about X-Men and Deadpool. Have you seen any of the X-Men movies?
No, I think only one, Days of the Future Past. Because my cousin wanted to watch it with me,
That's a really good one. Days of Future Past. I thought it was. I thought that one was really good. These games suck. But they're all based on movies, so I'm going to keep putting them on screen. But the X-Men universe ties into the Deadpool universe, and that's what's really weird to me, because the Deadpool universe is rated R, and the X-Men universe, up until Logan, was not rated R.
Logan was the best one. Everyone was saying it was the best one yet. I loved it. And that's why I bought it on digital HD so I could watch it again. It was honestly the best one. It's
really, really good.
It was so good.
A lot of people compare it to a Western, like a cowboy movie. Like when an old.
It was kind of, yeah, it was kind of.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they even put in a little bit of that, like, the movie that they're watching and referencing was an old Western movie in the film, but this is also that kind of film. So it's kind of a self-referential thing a little bit. It was so good.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think about that? Like, Deadpool, he doesn't really fit into the X-Men universe, but he's a part of it.
Yeah, see, that's the thing that bothers me. Like, shouldn't he be in the X-Men series? I don't get that. Like, how, like...
Well, if they're ever going to have an X-Men and Deadpool in, fighting together or whatever, other than in the Deadpool movies, which they've already done, they're either going to have to tone down the X-Men universe, or they're either going to have to go extreme and allow Deadpool to be himself in the X-Men movies, or they're going to have to tone down Deadpool a whole lot, water him down where he's not so edgy and so over the top, so he could fit into the X-Men universe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because he's too extreme for... Deadpool's too extreme for the X-Men universe to have him in an X-Men movie. And X-Men are too tame to be in a Deadpool movie.
Mm-hmm.
These games are garbage. These games suck. Alright, let's move on. We covered that one.
Yeah.
What do you think about the new Venom?
Venom. Mm-hmm.
Venom.
So we've been waiting for a decade after Spider-Man 3 was released because they just added Sandman and Venom. So now, it's just, like I said, Sony, what they're doing now is just that what they did with the interview was kind of messed up because, like,
say the interview?
Yeah, and it's their own fault that these rumors are happening, and like you got hacked and whatnot. That's kind of like their fault. This Sony Pictures stuff, saying like, "Oh, this movie's gonna come out. This happened." I kind of blame them, and maybe this is just a rumor that Venom was coming out, so that could be part of that actually. So now we're getting a Venom movie, and I think it looks kind of cool. I just want to see Venom fight. Venom might be in Spider-Man, in the future Spider-Man, we're just not really sure. So,
I think they're waiting to see how it'll do, like if people accept it.
Yeah.
And it could be cool.
Like, if they accept Venom, and it does so well, then it's gonna do, then they might put him in a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. They could. I don't know what they're doing. I have low expectations. I want it to be good.
Same. I want to be good too.
I want the character to be... I want it to do well so that they can use him in future movies.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't... Just from the looks of the trailers, I don't know if it's going to be. I'm going to go in with low expectations. I'm definitely going to see it in theaters, and I'm just going to hope for the best. And I don't know. I don't know. But Spider-Man, what do you think about all of the Spider-Man movies? Have you seen all of them?
Yeah, I've seen all of them. I like the trilogy one. I like the Amazing Spider-Man, but I didn't like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 because it was kind of like Spider-Man 3 because they added Electro and Green Goblin actually.
Yeah.
It's just the storyline is just a little.
It was too much. Yeah, they did. They made the same mistake from Spider-Man 3, like you said. Like
that's what Sony is doing because they're about to do 2 more. Because the third one is supposed to release this year. They canceled it. This is like they're supposed to do Spider-Man 4. They canceled it. They did reboot years later. They canceled again after the second one, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So this is Sony's fault. This is actually their fault of what they're doing. This is their own fault. Like, you know what I mean? This is their own fault.
Yeah. So the original 3, I was mostly okay with. I thought the second Sam Raimi one was pretty good. The one with Doc Ock, I liked it.
I thought that was pretty good too.
And then the third one, I was like, "Well, this is crazy! Like, you guys are biting off more than you can chew here." and then they rebooted with Daniel. What's his face? Is that his name?
Oh no, it's Andrew Radcliffe.
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield. Yeah. It was Andrew Garfield.
And I was cool. I was on board with the first one. I don't know about him as Peter Parker. Like, he's a little too cool. He's like a cool skateboarder guy. He's supposed to be like a nerd that gets picked on, but he seemed like kind of a cool guy. So I wasn't sure about that as the character.
But I like the one with Tom Holland and Spider-Man and Civil War. He's a good Spidey because that's a perfect age to be cast because he was around 20, 21. That's perfect cast for that age to play Spider-Man.
And they added too many villains and it didn't. The whole Jamie Foxx Electro thing, I think he's what ruined the movie. I think him just being an
yeah, because I was kind of focusing like who was the main villain, because that reminded me of Spider-Man 3. And Spider-Man did not have any backup in Amazing Spider-Man 2, which just kind of bothers me the most.
Well, Gwen Stacy was basically his backup.
Yeah, no, the Goblin was, I thought, the whole time. But he just want to use his Spidey powers for his own good. But Spider-Man Homecoming and his news. Alright, so this is the third time they've done this. This one is actually pretty cool. The casting is perfect. Of all ages. That's just perfect. Like, that's just perfect.
It was really good. And I love Michael Keaton. I'm so glad he had a good character in that.
Oh yeah, he dropped out and then he came back in during the
really? Do you know why he dropped out?
No, I don't know why. But it's a good thing he came back because he was actually a pretty good villain. They're gonna Far From Home, the new Spider-Man that's coming out is gonna have Mysterio.
That's what I heard.
Actually big. These villains, like in the third coming Spider-Man, looks a bit better than the others. Green Goblin is still my favorite. Doc Ock's my favorite. Yeah. I don't know. I think those are two of my favorites now. I'm just wondering what Mysterio has as a villain.
Well, I mean, I know some things about comics. I never really read any of the Spider-Man comics, but I
never read any comics either.
Oh, what the fuck was I gonna say? Oh, Mysterio. Mysterio is just a regular person.
Mysterio,
He's not a super villain. He's a super villain in the way that he tricks people into thinking he has powers. He's a magician, basically. He's a trickster. He's not an actual super power. He just tricks people in a really good way into thinking that he is some crazy super villain, and that's a really cool idea. And it also it works for the
and that's gonna be good in Spider-Man Far From Home, which just comes out next year.
Well, yeah, with Spider-Man, you want him to be fighting characters with comparable powers. Like, you can't have a Spider-Man fighting, like a Steppenwolf or I don't know, or a Thanos or something. Because, well, okay, he does fight Thanos, whatever. But like, he's a smaller. He doesn't have super. He's not a super. He's not a Superman. He's not an Iron Man. He doesn't have these like. He doesn't fight on that level. He's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He can sling webs, and he's got, super strength and stuff, but he's not all powerful. He's a kid that has amazing abilities. So, like, you need his villains to match that. You need his villains to be at a level that he can handle. That's why you choose Vulture, which in this version, I think the original Vulture was also kind of just a man that could fly around or whatever. But yeah, you gotta choose villains for him that are, like, on his level a little bit. You can't have him fighting above his pay grade.
I just hope they don't add 2 more villains with the Spidey series. It's just, it starts to bother me a lot. It starts to, like, bother me the most.
Alright, what's next? What do we got? Horror movies? I had written down horror movies. Do you remember any good horror movies that you liked?
I like the Conjuring series and Insidious.
I did too. I really did.
Series. Yeah, The Conjuring is so freaking scary. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But
I thought it was cool. What's the
yeah.
director? Is it Eli Roth? I think
No,
Eli
it's
Roth.
James Wan. It's James
James Wan. That's the one. Yes.
James Wan. His direction, I don't know how, but he does it perfectly.
Yeah, it's a very spooky vision. He's a spooky visionary, and the way that he like shoots scenes, it's very tense and very creepy. I don't like when people do jump scares like too much, and I feel like he relies on that a little too much in some of the movies, but mostly, I mean, like the atmosphere is just very good and creepy.
Oh my god, yeah. Have you seen Furious 7? He just did that film. I'm like, what is he doing? Like, with this direction? I just never seen that. I just never... If you watch Furious 7, like, you will notice his direction.
I had no idea.
Crap.
That's crazy.
And Furious 7, man, the film that he did with the editors, there's like 4 of them. It was like fast cutting. It was like a fast cutting, action packed budget movie. It was just so like 1 second. It's like not long. No, like during the action sequences, like oh my god, it was just like so fast paced action cut sort of type. It was crazy.
Yeah, I didn't realize he did that. What do you think about the whole Fast and the Furious franchise?
I love them. It's just that the 6th and the 8th are kind of similar. So, because Letty turned to the dark side, she came back, but she doesn't know Dom, and then throughout the whole movie. And this happened to Dom in 8th one. That really pissed me off because these two they went to the dark side. That's what's basically happening. Like, what the hell? What are you guys doing?
Yeah. Well, but are you talking about Vin Diesel's character in the new
one? Yeah.
Well, I mean, he had to do it, right? Like, I mean, they were kind of forcing him. Somebody had some leverage on him, and they made him do what he did, right?
Yeah.
What up, Scott? How's it going, dude?
What's up, Scott?
I'm kind of indifferent to the, why isn't this game fucking working?
Oh, you know they're making the Lion King live action? That's gonna be really... Alright, I watched the Jungle Book. It was really good. Like, the CG and everything, the effects was... It was so well done. I'm excited to see the Lion King in CG. It looks amazing. It's gonna look amazing.
They're making another version of the Jungle Book, which looks very, very similar. It's called Mowgli, and it looks very, very similar to the other live-action Jungle Book. I didn't know they were doing a live.
I didn't know they were doing that either. No, they're doing Mowgli. They already did the Jungle Book live action.
No, they're doing another Jungle Book live action, and it looks just like the other one, but they're like trying to make it look like darker or something, like a darker story or something. But it looks basically the same, and I mean, I only saw like one preview for it, and I haven't heard much about it after that. Live action Lion King. I don't know. Does anybody want that? Do we need that? I think we need it. It was gonna happen eventually.
I mean, eventually it's gonna happen. I didn't know they were gonna do the Jungle Book live action. And that got an Academy Award for best visual effects.
Really? It was good effects. Yeah, I didn't have any issues with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to talk about the games based on movies. So I want to talk about like the Bourne Conspiracy I played. Bruh, oh my god. It feels like I'm an actual movie, but you're playing a character. I'm like, what am I doing?
Bourne's Conspiracy.
Yeah, I played the game. Yeah, the Bourne Conspiracy is censored in Identity, but it's just such a good game. It was honestly the good game. And the Spider-Man, when I played, I think I played in the Xbox version back in the day, based on the film, that was actually pretty good.
Wait, which one?
Spider-Man, the very first game, not the Nintendo 64 version, but the Xbox, PS2, and Nintendo GameCube version.
I don't know if I remember that one. What's the oldest movie you remember enjoying?
Yeah.
What's the oldest movie that you remember actually enjoying? Like when it came out.
Well, the only thing is because I was born in '96, so there's like not really old movies. I watched because they aired on television actually.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
well, that's fine.
It was kind of absent for us, so that makes sense.
Well, I don't mean
we're in that generation.
Yeah.
I only had like up to 4 years into 2000 came. Because I was born in '96, that's about it.
No, that's cool. Like, what was... I don't know, do you think, like, Star Wars or something might have been, like, the oldest one that you actually enjoyed that was, like, that old?
I mean, now I would say it's old. But at least I get to watch it. Because we were absent in that generation, too. We were absent.
Yeah.
Like, people who were born, like, let's say, like, 96, 97, 98, 99. And it was kind of like that. Yeah. Ooh, I want to talk about the Terminator. I like Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Yeah. It was honestly the greatest sci-fi action of all time. I love Terminator 2. And thank God I bought it too.
It was really good. I mean, as I remember, I feel like that's one that I could go back and maybe pick it apart a little bit too much. Now that I'm very critical of films and stuff. But, I remember it being really, really good. Even the first Terminator I thought was okay. But then it got weird, didn't it? Like, did you see any of the other ones? Terminator 3 was kind of weird. And then they did, like, the...
Yeah.
A different one.
I liked Salvation. I enjoyed Salvation.
I think that one was okay. I don't...
Genesis was kind of crap.
See, that's what I hear people saying. I liked that one. I thought Genesis was fun.
No, because the storyline was kind of bland. That's kind of it.
They are. I heard they're doing an interesting thing. I can't remember what the other one was right now. I keep forgetting. But they're doing a Terminator where they're gonna get back like the old Sarah Connor. They're bringing back
Sarah Connor.
Yeah, they're bringing
Linda
back
Hamilton.
Some of the old,
Hamilton.
Yeah, Linda Hamilton. They're bringing back some of the old actors to do like a sequel, like a late sequel kind of thing.
They're doing Terminator 6.
Yeah. And aren't they doing another thing like that, like with Alien? It's not Alien, it's something else. They're bringing back the old characters.
No, they're doing Avatar 2 and 3. They're doing Avatar.
Oh, that's not... Yeah, I thought they were doing that. That's crazy. But,
yeah.
There's another one.
It is going to be a longer movie, too, because I don't know how long they're going to be filming for.
Well, it's going to be full of crazy special effects that give people headaches, I'm sure. I loved Avatar.
Yeah.
Avatar, I saw in theater with the 3D,
Same.
and that is when I actually was excited about 3D movies, because it looked amazing.
Yeah, that was my first 3D movie. I was around 7th grade when it came out. 7th grade. I got into it. Some people were saying it was kind of, I don't know.
It gets a little bit of hate, but
yeah,
I was okay with it. It was
same.
It was cool. I mean, it was exciting to see like the new 3D. Like when I was growing up, I mean, I'm older than you guys, so like growing up, if you wanted to see a movie in 3D, you had to do like the red and green or red and blue like cardboard glasses they would give you, and it was basically terrible. I mean, it wasn't good 3D. So the new like digital 3D thing, it's amazing. Like I thought it was amazing. A lot of people don't like it. Gives them headaches, whatever. I think new 3D.
And it's just kind of pricey too.
Yeah.
So I stopped buying 3D. I'm not watching 3D. It just gives me a headache.
That's cool. That's how a lot of people feel about it. And I'm not totally into it these days, but when it came out with Avatar and a couple like Spider-Man, like The Amazing Spider-Man, I think was another one. That was a good one for 3D. I was happy to. I wanted to see him flying through the air. You know, it felt cool
Yeah.
to see it in a weird 3D thing. What up, Fire Lily? How's it going? Genesis, the one you liked. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like that one too.
When Mission Impossible came out, it was converted in 3D, but I think it was kind of stupid in 3D. It's a spy film. Why would you make it in 3D? I don't understand that. I don't understand why would you make a spy movie in 3D.
Oh,
can you help me with that? Like, understand that?
No, yeah, there's definitely movies that should not be made in 3D, and that doesn't make any sense that they make them in 3D at all. Like, you're in an office building talking to people or something, and there's no, like, big action craziness. And it's like, why does it need to be in 3D? It doesn't at all need to be in 3D. What up, Smiley? My dude?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That really bothers me, but because I didn't watch it in 3D because I know it's gonna be banned in 3D because there's like no 3D effect shots whatsoever. So I think the post-production people wasted their time, like could have converted the whole thing. But the story, the film direction, the stunts was a lot better than this film. The action sequence and the performances were so good. This was the best Mission Impossible ever. It was honestly awesome. Yeah, it was actually pretty good. And it should have been on top 10 list of this year. Because now, alright. If anybody in the chat does not know what I'm talking about, it's IMDb. If you go to imdb.com and if you type in any movie, let's say The Dark Knight, because everybody knows that movie, The Dark Knight. If you type that in, you see, like it says in the top hashtag, look at the number, it's in the top 10 movies. It has 9.0, but in my opinion, I think Mission Impossible Fallout should have been in the top 10 list. And I would have given 8.6 on it. Because that looks a lot better than any other Mission Impossible movie.
That's what I'm hearing. And if I were to go see a movie in theater right now, it would be that one. I don't think there is...
Yeah.
I don't think there's any other movies out right now that I've heard so many good things about that I actually would care to see. And I believe you. I believe that it's good, and I believe everybody that has said that.
Just don't watch it in 3D, because I don't think there's not a single shot of 3D, and they just wasted their time doing that.
Really?
Don't watch it in 3D.
Weird.
Mission Impossible. Don't watch it in 3D. Don't watch it. It's not worth it for a spy movie.
Well, I mean, there are moments where he's like up in a helicopter and planes and stuff, right? That might be interesting, but that's probably it, right?
I don't know. I was not paying attention to that. I was having like a good time watching the movie. My favorite action sequence was the motorcycle. The motorcycle. It's just.
Alright, what'd you think of the Lord of the Rings / Hobbit movies? Well, finish your thought, then I want to know your new thoughts.
So, my thoughts on the Lord of the Rings. I thought it was pretty good, and there's a Hobbit. My favorite ones was Desolation Smile. And for those who know what we're talking about, the Lord of the Rings was just a original storytelling from Talkin. And there's a Hobbit, so the Hobbit is the prequel. So I'm like, which one do I go with? I go with both. And they're only like 2.5 hours long movie, but The Return of the King, Chris, you might want to heads up on this. The theatrical edition is 3 hours 29 minutes, but the extended edition is 4 hours and 23 minutes.
Wow.
So anybody in the chat, who wants to watch a movie that is like 4 hours long?
That's a bit long. I was telling DPG right before we started this thing, like, people complain about movies being too long, but normally if I'm enjoying it, like, I want the movies to be as long as possible. But 4 hours is pretty harsh. I mean, that's a lot to ask.
Harsh.
That's a lot to ask of anybody.
Like, I'll type in the chat now. Would anyone in the chat would watch a 4 hour extended version of Return of the King.
I bet a lot of people would. I mean, because it's a very popular franchise and book series and all that. I think people would want to see that. See all the.
I would not watch it. I would just fall asleep. Smiley Gamer says no. I agree with you, man. I want to watch it for 4 hours.
That's too much. Yeah,
It's
I don't know.
Too much. It's too much.
Well, I mean,
can you imagine editing that long? Like, can you imagine editing, putting all that stuff in there? Like, what's so important in the extended edition?
If you're really into a thing, well, I mean, some of that could be like if you're watching it in theater or you're watching it at home. I don't think I'd want to watch a 4-hour movie in theater, but if I was at home and I really cared about it, I may want to watch it for that long just to see all the little bits. If it was something I really was passionate about and cared about or whatever. Possibly. I thought those movies were pretty cool. Like, all together, they're not like my favorite movies in the world, but I thought they were well made. They kept my attention for the most part. I've heard people joke about them, of how, or actually, it even comes from there's a movie called Clerks. I don't know if you've seen Clerks or Clerks 2. It's Kevin Smith movies, and in Clerks 2, one of the characters is joking about how the Lord of the Rings movies are just people walking walking. They're just people walking, just for a long time. Like, some stuff happens, but it's just a bunch of walking to a place. And that's pretty true. I mean, that's how those movies are, pretty much.
Yeah.
Hobbit was pretty cool. I keep forgetting that the Hobbit character, what was his name?
Bilbo?
Yeah, Bilbo, the actor. He
Martin
was also...
Freeman.
Yeah, he was in Black Panther. What'd you think of Black Panther?
I thought Black Panther was pretty good, and Martin Freeman is like, he's actually a pretty good actor. He's actually a really good actor.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
I was a little disappointed with the Black Panther movie because the hype was so strong that it made me kind of like, I don't know. I wasn't going in with super high expectations because of the hype. It kind of made me go in with lower expectations because I don't want to listen to what everybody else is saying. I want to get my own opinion. And I just felt like it was okay. It was just okay. It wasn't the best Marvel movie, but it wasn't as great as people told me it was.
Yeah.
It had some CG, some graphic problems.
Oh yeah, speaking of Indiana Jones, you know they're making another one, right?
It doesn't surprise me, but I did not know that, no.
I actually want to talk about the best director's film so far, like Steven Spielberg, Christopher Nolan. Steven Spielberg's best film so far is Jurassic Park. I think he did a really good job with that one. He did really good. And there's so many other movies that he's done so much.
Yeah.
But Jurassic Park will always be in my heart. That's all I gotta say. Christopher Nolan, Dark Knight, the best superhero movie in decades. The best ones. Like, literally just the best. The Dark Knight.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with Dark Knight. And I don't think that movie got as much hype as it did because of the death of Heath Ledger. I think the movie stands on its own as a great, fantastic, amazing version of a Batman story.
Jocelyn asks, have you seen Hook?
Oh,
I think I'm part of it.
I've totally seen Hook. I grew up on Hook. It's a Peter Pan. It's a Peter Pan movie, and it is ridiculous.
It is a Peter Pan.
It's probably not as good as I remember it being because I was a kid when I watched it, but that was one. Also, the old Alice in Wonderland. There was an old musical Alice in Wonderland. And
there's and there's Snow White and Seven Dwarves. I think that was back in the 30-ish or something. Back in during around World War or something like that.
I'm a big fan of the crazy Alice in Wonderland stuff, but also the Wizard of Oz. I feel like, what do you think about them making if they made a new dark version of Wizard of Oz, like a Zack Snyder, Christopher Nolan Wizard of Oz?
No, I think Christopher Nolan would do a better job than Zack Snyder. I think Christopher Nolan would do a better job.
I sometimes get
because he can write. Because he's a better writer. He knows how to tell stories. And unlike Zack Snyder, I don't think he wrote screenplays for. I'm gonna check Man of Steel if he wrote it. I'm gonna check real quick.
I thought Tim Burton did an interesting job with the newer Alice in Wonderland movies. It gets a little bit of hate, but I liked his dark take on the stories and the characters and stuff.
Okay, he did a story on Justice League, but again, Justice League was such a bad movie.
It is, but I will watch it again and again. I've already seen it multiple times, and I will continue to watch that movie because it's fascinatingly bad. It is. I want to study it. I want to know what went wrong. What were you thinking? What did you guys do?
You know what other movies that got bad reviews too was The Twilight, and you know the Twilight series, right?
Oh.
With the movies and all.
I watched three of those movies, just hoping that I would enjoy them, and I never really ended up enjoying them.
I mean, it's just like a romance movie. I'm not a romance guy.
What about 50 Shades of Grey? Let's get into that.
Shut up.
Yeah. Oh, I know you've seen those movies.
I'm not seen those movies. Shut the hell up.
I haven't watched any of those, and they sound and look terrible. So. That's
it's kind of like Twilight, similar though. It's kind of.
Yeah, rest in peace, Robin Williams. That guy was amazing.
Oh, Mrs. Doubtfire? Yo.
Yeah, what you know about Mrs. Doubtfire? 'Twas a run by fruiting. Like I love.
There's a man peeing in our toilet. A little kid.
So much good stuff.
Oh god. Actually, I want to talk about TV shows now. What shows have you been watching during your time?
I don't really watch shows. I focus mostly like when I have free time. It's all movies and shit.
Wow.
It is. It's either like movies or talking about movies, making videos about movies. I know that like Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, Stranger Things. There's a ton of great series out there that I should be watching. I don't give myself the time for them.
I finished watching the first 2 seasons of Stranger Things. I'm waiting for. Everybody is waiting for Stranger Things. I can't even speak tonight. Everybody's waiting for Stranger Things season 3 up to next year. Jesus, I sound weird right now.
You're all good, man. I think it looks cool. I think they all look cool. Like everybody's like, "Oh, why aren't you watching that thing?" It's like, "Cause there's other things. There's too many things." Like I like movies and I like shows, but I'm not. It's hard for me to keep up with everything that everybody else likes. Like Rick and Morty and the new cartoon by Matt Groening, the Disenchantment. I heard it looked interesting and it was pretty good. I don't. I watch movies, people. I don't watch TV shows mostly. All right, well, I'm not getting anywhere on this one. Inspector Gadget was a movie, by the way. I'm trying to stick to games that were also movies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, The Hunt for Red October. I bet this is gonna suck. Haven't seen Sean Connery in things lately. Wonder what
he was everybody. Yeah, he's still around, but everybody was saying he was such a good Bond back in the day.
I always considered him the best Bond, but I don't know which one was the best. I thought Daniel Craig was a weird choice.
No, he's actually pretty good.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's good. I like him as an actor, but as James Bond, I don't know. I felt like it was a strange choice.
Bruh.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I think somebody else could have done. I don't know, because he's kind of the prequel. Like the Daniel Craig James Bond movies were kind of prequels, and he looks older than the original James Bond actors.
I mean, he kind of does, but that's not really bothers me. I just want a good Bond, like who can fight.
Yeah.
Like who could put up like a good fight. Like Pierce Brosnan, he goes just like, oh, like he just made like groan noise too. Like he can't get up and fight. See, that's my negative criticism as Pierce Brosnan and James Bond. But I like Daniel Craig more.
Yeah, I mean, I like Daniel Craig as an actor more, but I don't know if I like him more as a James Bond. I like the movies too.
Maybe I don't like you as a James Bond. Maybe just a
hey
smoky
man,
James Bond.
oh, the hostility. I'm not. I'm just joking. I don't think he's bad in any way. I think he's great. I just feel like that's an odd. It's kind of like putting Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider. Like I thought that was an odd casting choice.
I haven't seen any Christian Bale movies so far. After he's done the final Batman movie, and then when Ben Affleck was, you know what's funny? When one of my friends, I'm friends with this guy for a long time now, since middle school, and then he told me that, Ben Affleck's gonna be Batman. I'm like, no, please no, don't let Ben Affleck be.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should have seen my reaction that time. Oh my god.
Have you seen the Popeye movie? Are they making a new one? Because I think as a child I saw the old Robin Williams was Popeye in the old movie, I think. But anyway, that's kind of like a backwards. That's almost the opposite of how I felt about Daniel Craig and Nicolas Cage as those characters. Having Ben Affleck as it, like I thought it was a weird choice and probably a bad choice, but I actually liked him as Batman.
Yeah. Oh my
I thought
god.
Pierce Brosnan was kind of okay as James Bond.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got? What do we got next? How about?
I have no idea.
How about comedies? Have you seen?
Excuse you. What'd you just eat for dinner?
Beer. just cans of beer. I cut them with a fork and a knife.
Oh my god. Yeah, you were saying something? Because I just cut you off a little bit.
No, it's fine. Oh, Pierce Brosnan as James Bond. I thought he was okay. And I don't know about like some of the older ones. I watched him with my dad when I was younger, the other James Bond movies. And they were fun, but I can't really distinguish like which actor was the best Bond. And I thought Pierce Brosnan was okay. Like that's when I started enjoying films. I think like Independence Day had come out around the time that Pierce Brosnan was like in the middle of being the newer James Bond, and I thought it was okay.
Actually, GoldenEye was released in 1995.
And it's weird if you.
And then they did it.
Sorry, go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead.
What?
Have you played the GoldenEye?
Oh yeah, I did.
Actually, there's 3 versions of those games.
Yeah, alright, hang on. There's one for Nintendo 64, the one with the PlayStation 2, and the Wii with the Daniel Craig.
Yep. How do you feel about that? I actually own the GoldenEye for the Wii, and having Daniel Craig in that was so weird to me because he wasn't even he wasn't the actor in the movie. So like what? Like that's the weirdest thing.
Because Pierce Brosnan was old. He was almost kind of getting old now.
Well, I mean, it's also like a contractual obligation thing. Like if you put Bond in anything, I am the current Bond, and I have to be. I have to be the Bond.
Yeah, Bond did. Daniel Craig's James Bond. He did 4 video games as James Bond. He did Quantum of Solace. He did GoldenEye. He did Bloodstone. He did 007 Legend. And he did 4 movies already. Yeah. I think they're all the game. I did not like 007 Legends because they did a little bit Call of Duty clone. with the aim scopes and similar like that, and you know, his writing was kind of criticism too, and what else? And yeah, that's all I gotta say now. That's it.
I know Scott's a big fan of the Bill and Ted. He's been telling me I need to go back and rewatch the old Bill and Ted's. I think they,
And he says he's gotta go to sleep. Alright,
yeah,
nice guy.
later,
Thanks for
dude.
coming by, man.
I thought, didn't they talk about making a new Bill and Ted? Gonna make a CGI Popeye movie, but they shut it down. There was a Peanuts movie with Charlie Brown and Snoopy and stuff. I never saw it.
I did not watch that.
I didn't either.
I never saw
I didn't
it
hear
either.
anything about it, like, at all. Like, it just didn't
Same.
get talked about. So I have no idea, like, if that movie did it. Oh, they actually did, what was it, the dog and the kid that, like, go through time and teach people things. I watched that. It was a CGI something. It was Sherman and the kid. I don't remember. It was interesting. Seth MacFarlane.
Have you seen Ted?
Oh yeah, Ted is great.
Oh my.
Ted is
The
hilarious.
first one was okay, but the second one was a lot more funnier because there's so many jokes. I just died laughing, man. I thought it was pretty funny. First one was okay. It was kind of funny, but I wish it would have been more funnier.
Really, I have an opinion kind of similar to the way I feel about like what we were saying about the Avengers. Like, that was my favorite, and it's the first one, and the Deadpool. Like, the first one is always going to have a special place in my heart, and that's kind of how I feel about Ted. Like, Ted, it was the first one, and I loved it, and then you have another one that may or may not be better, but the other one still has a special place in my heart, and I don't know if I can ever say that the sequel is better. Mr. Peabody and Sherman. Yeah, you got it, Drossum. Yeah, that's the one. I saw that movie. I thought it was fun. It was a fun movie.
I thought it was funny. I thought it was really funny. Like, holy crap, like... And it didn't do so well at the money either. It made decent.
Really?
It was not surprising, though. Alright, what's your opinions on The Simpsons? Like, you know how many seasons they just done so much?
They're like in season 30-something, right?
I don't know, man. I was not born in the 80s.
That's a movie thing also. They made a movie out of it. I could...
Okay, I thought the movie was pretty funny. I thought the movie was pretty funny.
If you're gonna watch the Simpsons movie...
No, not in theaters. I think I watched it online.
If you're gonna
crap,
watch...
I should not mention that on YouTube.
No, it's fine. Nobody cares. The Simpsons, I'm a fan. I actually was not allowed to watch The Simpsons when I was younger because Bart says "but" and this sucks and like, it was that kind of thing. And I grew up in a very traditional, like, Christian household where, like, you don't say "but," you don't say something sucks, you don't do this and that. So I couldn't watch Simpsons. I couldn't watch Beavis and Butthead and that kind of thing, which is also they made a movie out of, so we could talk about that.
I did not watch Beavis and Butthead. Sorry.
But The Simpsons, like, if you're gonna watch the movie, you might as well, like, just watch a really long episode of The Simpsons. There's another Simpsons movie in production. That's interesting. I'm a fan of The Simpsons. I don't, like, regularly watch it. I have a bunch of the seasons on DVD that I used to watch, like, while I was going to bed, so, like, I memorized a bunch of things from it. I'm a big fan of Family Guy also. South Park.
Yeah.
But now we're getting into more into TV shows. This is a movie stream. We gotta keep it movie. No, I'm just joking. We can do whatever we want. I don't care.
You could just retitle it and put movies and /TV.
I don't have anything to say about TV shows though, like, cause I mean, like, there's nothing good on TV anymore. Like, I watch Nickelodeon because there's so many bunch of good TV shows in my generation. That's all done, and I'm like, what am I supposed to... I don't watch Disney either, like Disney TV shows, and I'm like, what am I supposed to watch next? So I just gave that up. And as the generation moves on and on and on, there's nothing good on anymore. So yeah, I don't know what's happening. See, I get mixed up when you're talking about, like, TV versus like Netflix. I consider those TV shows basically.
Yeah. See now, like you know how when Blockbuster went out of business, Netflix took over. Who's making more money? There's Hulu. Netflix and Hulu is making more money than Netflix.
Really?
No, oh no.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
No.
I heard Netflix is like one of the biggest.
I deserve a slap in the face.
You get a cyber slap.
Yeah. Ow.
But I think the
no, drunk slap. Because you're drinking.
You know, drunk. All right, here it comes.
Ow! That's...
Woody Woodpecker live action. I've seen reviews of that. It looks weird and awful.
Oh wait, hang on. So Netflix and Hulu is making more money than what Blockbuster did. So that went out of business.
Yeah.
But do you know the movie The Last Airbender? Do you know how bad that movie was? The Last Airbender?
I did watch that.
The 2010 one?
I was not... I did enjoy the little bits that I saw of the actual show, Avatar. But The Last Airbender movie was not good. It was, like, obviously not good.
No. The only thing that bothers me is they couldn't pronounce the name right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you kidding me? The name, the pronouncing was dumb. The acting was dumb. The screenplay was pretty much dumb, and everything else was just dumb. It was like this movie of all.
Ong. Remember your favorite character from this movie, this series, Ong. Remember the main character, Ong. Like nobody remembers Ong, because that's not the character.
I actually want to talk about Home Alone because you're playing the game.
Yeah.
Home Alone 1 and 2 are actually pretty funny.
I enjoyed them. Those are childhood pleasures for me. I loved watching the Home Alone movies.
You know, every time I watch the second one, because it was set in New York, every time I see the World Trade Center, which is I don't know anything about till now, that's when 9/11 happened.
Really?
Oh, did they take pictures into like cartoon sort of type?
I don't know. You know Donald Trump was in Home Alone 2?
Oh yeah, he was.
He was.
I was gonna say like no, the only scene he was Kevin was walking down a hallway and then he asked her where's the main lobby.
Yeah.
He goes down the hall to the left.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, he had a little cameo.
That is until he became president of the United States.
Yeah. He was a rich person and he was in some movies and made little cameos and made a show. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. I'm sorry, everybody, but this is the end of the crappy games that I can find for this at the moment. So I'm gonna go ahead and call this a stream.
I feel like my jaw is about to because I've been talking the most.
No, it's good. It's good. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, DPG, for hanging out on the stream. Go check out DPG's channel. Subscribe to him. He's a great guy. And if you got
link in the description, guys. Link in the description.
Got movie things to talk about. He's a movie guy. He likes talking about movies, and so do I. And it was a pleasure having you, sir. Thank you so much. We will continue this chat in a minute when I end the stream. Thank you guys all for hanging out. Drawsome and Scott and Electronic
Shondo,
and
thank
Smiley
you,
and Fire Lily, everybody. Yeah, you guys are great. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, and catch you again next time, everybody. Peace out.
May the force be with you.
Yes, force, all of the forces. May all of these.
You just messed up.